We take so many things for granted in America when it comes to Christianity. We take so many things for granted in the West when it comes to Christianity. And we live in a society that is built on Christian principles, so much so that we've just become desensitized to it. And I wanted to highlight this video. This is from a Premier Unbelievable. It's actually a little further back, and I did my interview with Justin, who used to be with Premier Unbelievable, and he brought up Tom Holland, and I kind of went down the rabbit hole, okay, of Tom Holland, and I was like, man, this is really interesting stuff. So check this out. So this is Tom Holland responding to the challenge of name one thing Christianity did for us. Check this out.
I would ask Tom this, and this is a surprising question maybe, to nominate for me one thing, just one thing, that Christianity has introduced that doesn't have some source, some parallel, some analogy in previous and in other civilizations. One novelty, one innovation in thinking about anything, ethical, metaphysical, anything you like.
In thinking about anything. Okay? Now, Tom Holland hosts a history podcast.
And I must say, I've racked my brains over this often enough, and I cannot think of one. I would love to hear if there is one.
Do you accept that challenge?
Absolutely. I think the ideal of lifelong matrimony, I think that's a very distinctive Christian concept. I think the category of what by the 19th century is coming to be categorized as homosexuality and heterosexuality, I think they have no precedence. I think the notion of secularism, the idea of there being religions, I think all these are entirely exclusive to Christian civilization. I think the concept of science as it emerges in the 19th century, I think is entirely exclusive to Christian civilization. I think the idea that human beings are created in the image of God, that is obviously something that Christians share with Jews, but that is it gives a degree of dignity to human beings that no other cultural tradition that I'm aware of even remotely approximates to. So I think that all of those are essentially what I'm talking in giving that is I am talking about what makes Western civilization distinctive. And one of the things that absolutely makes Western civilization distinctive, and it's an inheritance of its Christian past, is its assumption that its values are universal. This has been fundamental to...
One of the assumptions, I got to pull it back, is assuming that these values are universal. They're not universal.
Distinctive. And one of the things that absolutely makes Western civilization distinctive, and it's an inheritance of its Christian past, is its assumption that its values are universal.
These values are not universal, by the way. Women being treated equal to men is not universal, fam. Marriage being monogamous and you can't just have sex slaves, that's not universal. Babies being valued and not thrown in the river the way they were by the Romans, that's not universal. There's a clear distinction. So when we say BC AD, and I hate when people try to change that, there's a clear distinction of the world before Jesus and the world after Jesus. A lot of this is because of the church. If you look up the document, the Didache, which explicitly talks about saving babies, which explicitly talks about how marriage is designed, which explicitly talks about the value of life, the conduct for the early church. These are exclusive to a Christian worldview that was not here before.
This has been fundamental to the way that Christians have understood their faith, that it is for all of humanity. And to this day, the heirs of that cultural tradition want to believe that their values are not contingent, but somehow are the property of all humanity.
That's good. Now let's go back over these one more time, because there's a lot of things he says here that people aren't catching. So check this out real. You can't just marry someone and discard them and divorce them when you don't like them. That's an exclusively Christian teaching from Jesus. Why? Because Jesus was not cool with divorce. He said Moses let the Jewish folks get divorced. Why? Because their hearts were hard. So that's lifelong matrimony is exclusively a Christian concept.
Accept that challenge.
I think the category of what by the 19th century is coming to be categorized as homosexuality and heterosexuality, I think they have no precedence. I think the...
So did you guys catch that? So he's saying that what I think he's saying is that the ability for people who are same-sex attracted to even exist and have the liberty to exist, I think he is saying that this Christianity is the type of society that actually will allow this instead of stoning these people to death. Do you understand? Do you understand what I'm saying? Christianity allows this to happen when it's other traditions don't. Like throw you off a roof.
Of secularism, the
idea of secularism, the ideas of philosophy of the Enlightenment are all flowing out of flowing out of a Western Christian worldview.
Of there being religions. I think all these are entirely exclusive to Christian civilization. I think the concept of science, as it emerges in the 19th century, I think is entirely exclusive to Christian civilization.
Find all the scientists that had major breakthroughs. They were all Christians. So there's so much that we take for granted. And Tom Holland does a great job of unpacking this and leaning into the tension here. And I think that's the parts of society that we just forget. We forget how much of our societies are not like the rest of the world. Today, like go to North Korea, go to parts of the Middle East, right? There's so many aspects of society today that when Christianity is removed, you see how far it goes. Look at China's one-child policy up until 2015 when they were forcing on women. That's up to 2015. And now their birth rates have plummeted, and now they're trying to incentivize more birth rates. So I think we take so much of this stuff for granted without fully understanding what it is that we have here. So anyway, if you do not have our Occupy Till I Come piece, go scoop some up. It's available now over at blessgod.shop. If you don't have our brand new prayer journal or our leadership planner, go